Good afternoon. Today is Sunday, the 26th of June, 2016, and I'm standing here in the stand of Aquatic Science. I'm standing here with Dr. Frederick Louis. Is that how I pronounce it?
Louisi, yeah.
Louis. Okay. You just launched a new project here on the market. Normally we see a lot of UV lights in the stands of on all the koi shows, but there's something different about this one. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, we wanted to go one step further because UV is important, but germs and bacteria and so on that are in our ponds, in the water, can actually build up some protections. And these protections that they built around them, like an egg has got a shelf, you know, these protections will prevent the UV from going through and actually killing them. So a standard UV is only efficient if it really has time to actually kill that germ that can be a health problem for the fish. What we did here, if I can show you.
Yes.
So these are metal UV, and basically you have the light in the middle, and what we did is apply a specific paint on the inside that will make some sort of a bounce effect. So basically the UV is going through the water, attacking the germ, getting to the outside of the metal reactor.
The light is scattered in the reactor,
Exactly,
basically.
yeah. And there it will generate a reaction. That reaction is one of oxidation. And it's something we have developed with the University of Liège, where they have been working for the glass industry. In the glass industry, when you have a big, building with like 40 floors and so on, it becomes terribly difficult to clean the windows. And so the industry has actually developed these crystalline paint that are applied on the glass, and with the UV light coming from the sun, it will generate a reaction on the surface of the glass, making it a lot easier to be painted, to be washed. And dust doesn't stick to it and so on. It's really easy to wash them. And basically it's that reaction that we've done multiplied by many factors, because the level of UV inside our UV system is much, much higher than UV light from the sun. And it's that reaction that we sort of copy inside the reactor. And what it does is that it breaks the water in two very reactive parts. So the germ is passing by, the UV stimulate that reaction that will simply corrode or attack its protection, making the UV much more efficient. And it's a very, very fast reaction. It happens in like a few thousands of seconds, not more. Meaning that when you analyze the water coming out of the UV, you don't see any trace of that reaction. It's all happened inside. And so it's improved water quality, but also as it's oxidation, it accelerates the degradation of ammonia to nitrite and nitrate. So reducing potential toxicity of the water for the fish. So it's very, very efficient to really bring the performance of a filtration system to a maximum.
And also this UV light, does it also perform in the same wavelengths as normal UV light? Like normally you have 256 nanometers for DNA absorption. Yep. So basically for the viewers at home, the DNA gets damaged by the UV light, so the cell won't divide because of all the damage done to the DNA. Is this the same wavelength, or is it another wavelength for the photocatalytic properties of the titanium dioxide layer?
Actually, blue light, visible one, it's down to 400 nanometer. And here the effect on the paint starts at 380. Okay. So already at 380, 350, 300, it's already efficient. Further you go down, better it is. But what it means that in terms of biocidal effect of the UV, it's only, as you say, 254, 256. That's the only wavelength that is really active. But for the oxidation effect, it's actually the full spectrum. So it really makes it very efficient.
And why did you choose to use titanium dioxide compared to, for instance, hydrogen peroxide? Because there's also a short reaction with UV that gives off radicals. Mm-hmm. What was the decisive factor in choosing for titanium dioxide?
Well, titanium dioxide, here we make a crystal. So we don't actually release anything, and it's a catalytic reaction. meaning that it's stimulated by the UV, it breaks water, and then back to its initial point. So it's a reaction that just reproduces itself. If we wanted to add oxygen peroxide, then there was a consumable, and there would be something changed in the global water. Here, it's just one step, very strong treatment that can be repeated forever, and as it is crystalline paint, it's actually just like a glass, so it doesn't worn off.
Okay.
So it's there for long. I mean, we've had various tests of trying to just damage the paint and to see how we could get rid of it, and it's actually as solid as the metal itself is. So it means that we have a very good UV with this additional effect without consumables. So that's the ideal situation for the pond hobbyist.
Okay, and also like with ponds with really green water, I think that in the beginning the catalytic process won't work because the transmission rate of the water is really low. But then as you progress in the treatment, then the photocatalytic activity will increase. Am I correct in that?
It is correct, but when you know that such an effect can be triggered simply by the UV light from the sun, it shows that it doesn't need much to get started. So it's true that if your water is totally green, well, obviously the intensity of the UV that will reach the outside of the reactor will be low. But it doesn't need much to get started.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. I'm wondering, is it just a normal titanium dioxide layer, or does it have a certain morphology in order to create that special reaction?
No, it's very, very specific. I mean, the whole development and innovation is there, because for the titanium dioxide to make this effect, it must form a specific form of crystal. So the titanium dioxide can be either randomly associated and then there's no effect, or it can form different shapes of crystal. And it's only one of those shapes that is really efficient. So the whole development has been to manage at low temperature, because in the glass industry they can work at 600 degrees, and there it's easy in a way to form a crystal. But here we had to do it at low temperature. And at low temperature, to ensure that 95% of the crystal that is formed is the right shape, that was our challenge with the University of Liège.
And then, practically speaking, people with fish who want to treat the fish, you put the UV down, you shut it down. Can chemicals like, for instance, potassium permanganate, which is used in treatment, for instance, trichodina, can it influence the titanium dioxide catalytic activity?
No, when the UV is out, all you have is like a glass layer. So it's totally inert, so just nothing happening to it. But once you switch it back on, then the oxidation starts, and it will cut apart various toxins if there are any left, or medicines, drugs, or whatever that had been used in the water will be oxidized. And the ultimate breakdown will be carbon dioxide, for example, if it's carbon-based products.
Okay, and I see we have here like 4 types of units. What kind of hydraulic capacities can each unit handle?
Well, very easy. You just check on 10 cubic meter, and on you go. 25, 35. So we've calibrated them just for very simple use from 10 cubic meter to 35. And twice a year we have a week-long meeting with our commercial force where we analyze all the needs of the market and where we sort of converge the R&D activity in the company with the demand from the market. And that's how we actually adapted this UV and made a number of changes. If I can show, for example, the light sticks out because the hot spot in a UV is always where it's fixed. In bringing it out like this, the hot spot is surrounded by air, which means that there is no hot spot on the quartz tube, so no calcium bicarbonate that sticks to it. So then the quartz always stays clean. Also, we used to an entrance on one side, exit entrance on one side, exit on the other. But according to where you're going to put it and which way your water is coming from, well, you just put the electric
Very
box
handy.
on the other side, and it's provided with fixation that allow you to place it on the wall on the right side. So wherever it goes, it will be easy to put, easy to fix and to handle. And you also have a timer that counts the number of hours the lamp has been used, and it triggers an alarm when it's time to change it. Also, we made them all of the same height, so that for the resellers, they don't have too many spare parts. Because, you know, quartz tube, it's always fragile, you can break it. So when you have an UV like this, another one like this, another one and different thickness and so on, then you need tens of quartz tube, and you always end up being short because you break some. Here, it's the same quartz tube for all of them. And in terms of lamp, there's only 2 different ones. And all the rest of the spare parts are identical. So that's what makes it very practical, both for the end user and for the reseller.
Thank you very much for the elucidation of this new technology within the aquatic industry in terms of fish, aquaculture, because in the industry it's already known, but it's the first time I ever see it here on a Koi show.
Well, we're quite proud of that, and that's what we're all about. You know, aquatic science, we try to bring science to the service and to the use of Koi specialists and all the fans of water that we are.
Thank you very much for this interview, and we'll hope to see you soon, maybe in Arsen.
Probably. Well, it's always a bit difficult with, you know, timing the holidays, so I tend to be away during Arsen. But this year, it's still in the negotiation.
We will see you in the future. Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah, thank
Bye.
you.